Yeah, baby, it's time. Oh, it's record talk, DIY style.
I'm glad I did not just start like pantomiming the song "Something Fierce" because it would have been a fight right there. It would have been pretty bad. So that's all good.
I just had my phone in my hand trying to find a song. I'm like, then it'll get ripped down if I find a song that's not an original. I was like, yeah, I'll just put it down.
I got it. Don't
we had your back, brother. We had your back.
I appreciate it so much. Even when not complete, I still have my completion.
I was ready to start screaming "Crazy Blue Eyes," but it's all good.
And it's funny because I pull up that version and it hits me with the "Let me tell you." How's it go? Let me tell you a secret. And I was like, "Whoa, that's loud." Not what I was expecting. So, how's everyone doing on this special end of March edition of Record Talk?
Yeah,
pretty good,
man.
Yeah, spring break. Your kids on spring break, Brian?
Yeah, they started this week. Yeah. Monday. That's actually why it's so quiet around here. They're with their grandma, so they're having a sleepover with grandma. She wanted to
nice.
I was like, yeah, sweet.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's why I got to watch a little Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah.
So you watched the whole thing?
Absolutely. I was like, I'll make myself dinner and I'll watch this movie.
I made dinner at 3:30 and promptly watched the movie.
Nice.
Wow.
And I think, not for nothing, as soon as we wrap for the night, because it's going to only be 7:00 here when we wrap for the night, I'm going to cut up some fig and goat cheese with some rosemary crackers, and I'm going to watch it again with a second drink.
Dissect the hell out of it?
I think so, yeah.
That's pretty classy.
Well,
Pretty classy.
For the first viewing, I had mozzarella sticks with buffalo sauce. So the second round will be a little bit more upscale than that. Goat fig cheese and some rosemary crackers. Maybe an old fashioned.
Ooh, getting fancy with it. Rob, what's new with you, brother? There we go.
It's just another day. Trying to get everything going. Trying to get everything going. Tomorrow is 4 years of the Rob School of Music, so that's exciting.
Happy anniversary, man.
Thank you.
Very cool. That's exciting.
I still remember walking through the empty space and like helping you lay out all the rooms and everything. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Well, that would have been
probably a couple months ago.
That would have been 3 years ago. So Alto started April 1st, 2017, and then this weekend, the end of March 2017, I went to go talk about what was my next year plans, and you're like, oh, we're gonna close this location. So literally, like the end of March 2017 is when I figured out what was going to happen with the Suffern location. You did the walkthrough and everything. So 3 years here with 4 years in total. So it's super exciting. So that's what's going on in my world.
Wild.
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's cool. I am. And
that's an achievement.
Thank you. I think it is. I do. And we're coming up on 1 year of Record Talk here too, right?
Yeah, it started beginning of summer. When we do that, it was hot out, man.
Oh, it's hot now.
And it's spring, maybe? Well, it's not hot.
I think it was spring because my first interview was first week of April. So Record Talk was shortly behind it.
April.
We can look it up.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
We'll check our producer. But
where's Dylan Rackley?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Dylan?
I'm not sure where Dylan is. I'm not really sure where everyone is, but that's all right. But in the meantime, what's in the
glass?
There it is. We don't need to do that a second time. You guys get the idea. So what you drinking, James?
I bought 2 bottles this past week, and one of them was a bottle of Breckenridge cask finished bourbon, and it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful bourbon. Very, very sweet, very, very rich, and very nice to drink. Enjoy it.
Nice. What was the other one you bought?
It was Yoichi Japanese single malt.
How is that?
So it's really, really good. Japanese whiskey, Japanese single malts are amazing.
Really? All right.
Yeah, they're so much different than anything you would get out of Scotland, and they're their own unique animal. They're so good.
Oh, I gotta check that out
next week.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. What about you, Rob? What are you drinking?
Got water
in
this cup. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, what is it? Disney World.
Disney. Nice.
James, you gave me this cup.
I did, right? I knew that.
Yep. We use them for our water every single day, and we got a little bit of this over there too. So good times. And
Nice.
Brian, you sir?
I am drinking tea. I'm having dandelion root.
Did that cup have something on it and it has changed color due to temperature?
No, it's just actually it's a gift from my son. He got one of the first gifts he got me. He says, "Love you, Dad." It's
Aw.
just real simple. I just like it. It's like a
Very
nice
nice.
fat one too, so it's good for like tea, you know.
How is
What's
that
dandelion root?
So there's different kinds you can get. You can get like toasted. You can get this one. It's got like a very like a dull vanilla, but it's got a barky flavor, but not bark like it's like earthy. It's very rich flavor, smoky, but like it's nothing too much on the palate where you're like, I can't do this. It tastes too much like a hippie concoction. It's not. It's really refreshing. It's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Isn't that like in chamomile tea? Isn't there a dandelion?
Dandelion root may be on there too. Yeah. Oh, Dylan's drinking the luxury of lemon lime Gatorade. Ooh, all right.
You got to do the purple, man. That's how the pros do it.
Purple Gatorade or blue Powerade?
Blue Powerade
Powerade.
is for musical instruments. Purple Gatorade is for drinking.
True stories. Absolutely true stories. Yeah. Well, that's what's in the glass, folks.
Now, hold on.
Rob, I think I got to interject for 1 second. I'm sorry. I think every now and again, Rob, because you don't have the soundboard with you right there, do you?
I don't.
I don't think there's anything to stop any of us from mimicking any of those sounds at any given time, should we feel it necessary.
I agree.
Every now and again, Rob, if you want to throw in a good like, ooh, wah, ah, 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 I think that would be very appreciated.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy.
And what is it? Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
All right, well,
Let's
that's our
broaden our
transition.
minds.
Yeah, so that's where we're at now. That would be our next transition. So we're talking about a transformative record from the year 2003, is it? Oh, look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah, a little fancy picture disc there.
Well, it's good that he can one-up you this time because you've always had the vinyl, so you've purchased them.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
So he just happens to have that one. That's good.
I wasn't going to buy this one, but that's okay.
Yeah, so I take it you didn't enjoy this one as much as I did, huh?
It grew on me.
Okay.
I can understand what there is to like. It's just not my cup of tea, but I definitely have some reactions.
Cool.
Okay.
Very nice.
I had a
cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
I had a lot of thoughts about this record. The only thing that I'd really been familiar with the AAS was Maps and the cover of Immigrant Song.
Karen with Atticus and Trent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's not really a familiarity with the AAS, but just with Karen in general. And because I only knew Maps, like they were just a little bit off my radar in general, and I couldn't really tell you why. I came to a couple conclusions as to why. We'll get to that more later, I suppose. But Maps as a song didn't really do much for me.
Interesting.
So
really, that's my favorite.
I went into this expecting a whole album's worth of, the stuff in the vein of Maps, and that's not what you get out of it. And I enjoyed it so much more as a result of that. Like, I thought there was really, really great energy early on in the album. And just this really, really, as soon as I latched on to a song that I liked, everything else that didn't quite do it for me made sense in different ways. I found listening to this record a lot like seeing a band you've never listened to before live. Mm-hmm. And you walk away from it like you enjoy the band more having seen them live. That's what happened to me while I was listening to this. Does that make sense?
That's interesting. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. It's interesting you actually bring that up because that reminds me of how, like, when I got introduced to this album, I remember buying it because I heard the song Maps. I'm like, oh, let me just buy the album. Let me just take a chance here. I've heard nothing else on here. Let me just go with that. And because the album clocks in at, a little over 37 minutes, it's a short record. So you could blast through it pretty quickly. And I remember at the time I put it on, I was just doing other things. So I was kind of listening to it, not really experiencing it, you know, and I would come in on certain parts and hone in and be like blown away by, you know, wow, this is, I'm enticed and drawn in by whether it was the music, the lyrics, her voice, some component of it drew me in. Inevitably, I'd be torn away. But because it was so short, I would constantly put on replay because I was just like, I feel like I'm missing something. And that's how I end up really enjoying this. When I noticed what was pulling me in every time, whether it was the hooky parts, the way she was singing, the way the drums were, the guitar, whatever it was, whatever the sound was, it's the alluring power of these songs. There is a rawness to this album. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they financed this. They made it under their own terms, even though they had a label and everything. They did this in this very punk rock way. And that energy is undeniable in this entirety of this record. And that's a nice thing, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely, very well said. There's definitely this art rock, like,
For sure.
These are like art school kids, like galleries, like, you know, you just American Spirit cigarettes, like, you know, like the hipster kind of thing going on. But it's, I liked it a lot. You know, I'm going to be the James on this one, I think, because I came out of this. We should have a line of shirts that say "Be the James," and that, you know,
heretic.
I've been breaking my own mold these past couple.
You have.
But that's even doubling down on who you are, though. You say you just can't. Once you get a handle on it, you're slippery, and then you switch, and then you're something
Eventually,
else.
he's going to let loose his atomic breath.
Yeah.
So you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, so like I knew Maps, and I knew another one of the songs. I forget what it was called now.
Maybe Pin or Date with the Night.
It was Black Tongue. I knew that song as well.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, going into it, I was like, oh, like Day with the Night I liked. I like Man I liked. But there's this, I don't know, maybe it's just like the punk thing isn't my world so much, and the artsy thing isn't my world so much. But, you know, you think of other bands at that time, there's like Block Party, and then like they're also coming off the end of like the band thing with the Strokes and the what the hell was the other one?
The Vines.
Yeah, the shit, the Vines. That's what I was like. Yeah, so there's the Shins as well.
The shit. They said the shit.
I did think you said the shit as well.
No,
I was not familiar with them, but I was like, but okay.
I don't know if he's just trying to be funny and just be like, oh, you know, that band is shit.
No. And there was that other one. I can't remember, but
a lot of thought does.
Yeah. So yes. I mean, it's just a continued play on the same sort of and then a word, but it was cool. It was definitely more than I thought it would be, but it's cool.
It's an important record, though, and I think it's an important band, whether a person, you know, enjoys them or they're a fan of them or not. Like it came out in 2003, so a little while ago. It's also on the cusp of the internet really kind of gaining some serious momentum. You're starting to see this band who really shouldn't have blown up the way they did in the mainstream blow up, and a lot of it has to do with probably the internet and this transitional time for music and, you know, doing that. So being able to reach a broader audience than maybe this band may have done as a New York City noise art pop.
There you go. Yeah.
Band, right? So it really, that's one of the beauties of the internet. You know, it's kind of leveled the playing field for information, content, media to kind of just be out there and to be able to cherry pick it, you know, and I think that really helped this band catapult them.
Very much so.
Right? I mean,
now, what's that?
Yeah, good. We want to do favorite songs. We want to go track by track.
I mean, dude, like this is one of those ones where, you know, I think as we go through this, each of us are gonna, you know, once we get past the ones that we all love, I think each of us are gonna start to have ones that mean more to us than it might mean to others. So this falls under that vein for you. So why don't you just kind of take the reins and run with it?
All right, man. Yeah. I mean, I like how a 3-piece like this just really, sometimes it could be empty. It could sound like there's something missing sometimes with a 3-piece, but I feel like because maybe it's the art vibe to it, they really bring a lot of different sounds to this. The guitar, whether it's drums, they really become focal points, and they take turns. It's not just, all right, this is Karen Owen, here's the backup. Like there are parts of this album that where you really get a chance to spend time with each one of these players collectively and individually. Like one here, like it's, you brought up you brought up Black Tongue. I guess, I don't know. Oh, here. So like no. Like it's like the 8th track in the album. It's one of my favorites, and the reason is this really captures raw energy specifically in this album, because there's no mistaking its presence on the entirety of the album, right? But one of my favorite things about any album is hidden treasures, and those hidden treasures are like those brief segues where like it's kind of like, in this case, in the beginning, like the drummer starts and he has this mishaps and he's like, sorry, and then starts up again, right? And I feel like I love that. It's this momentary crack of the studio door where you as the listener get to hear the drummer stop and restart his beat while simultaneously apologizing. And if you're not a drummer, like James, you've said this many times, like I'm not necessarily drawn in tractor beam wise from the lyrics or the voice or it's the guitar. It's certain other elements that you are very much attracted to. So if you're not a drummer, you may not stop and be immediately drawn to that. Because of that immediately brings him into the focal point, whether you're a drummer or not. Like you're now already invested into this beat, which chugs along in this crisp beat throughout the song, and everything builds upon that. And that's what's cool about this band, is they do that numerous times with different, whether it's Karen, whether it's the guitar, whether it's the drums, it all kind of shifts. And I love that. And you get a clear picture of that in the song. And I think that's why I love it so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you,
See, that's what I'm saying. Like you have the the inside track on what's going on, because there's clearly a connection to it. So you can give those delicious Brian
delicious. Probably should say the drummer's name is Brian. Karen is the vocals, and Nick is the guitar, sometimes drum machine. I keep saying the instruments. That's not fair. We're just saying Karen. So Brian, Karen, and Nick. There you go.
I found in my listening to it, I really wasn't very familiar with the band. I was kind of disassociated with it because they weren't on my radar when Maps came out, and I had already kind of solidified in my mind what I wanted to hear from the female fronted genre. Like I wanted to hear Susie Sue, or I wanted to hear the Sundays, or I wanted to hear Bjork. So Maps didn't do that, so I never really got more into the band. But on getting into the band this time around, it was funny because as I first got into it, probably the first listen through, I found it a little grating at times. I found Karen's voice to be a little harsh to listen to, and I found the guitar to be a little harsh to listen to, and I found the drums to be a little haphazard, just in the context of the entirety of each of these songs. And then as I started, as I was saying before, I found that one gem that I kind of latched onto. I started to notice that this is just who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
And as a unit, all of that weirdness, Karen's shrill voice to some degree, shrill is the wrong word, but Karen's vocal choices and the guitar's choices and the drums, how they all kind of work together is much more cohesive than it seems like on first listen. You have to really give this time to marinate, I think, and then it becomes much greater than what you would first hear. Something that I also noticed, and I don't know if either of you will feel the same way about this. Rob, maybe you more so than Brian might feel this way, but the era of guitar music that I kind of was raised on was very, very complex. They're very, very complex chord shapes and complex patterns and arpeggios and just a lot of technical details. I'm not saying that technicality and virtuosity is what makes a band great, but I wasn't used to what this band did in terms of the guitar aspect of things. That this band is what I kind of refer to as a one-string wonder. That a lot of the parts are one fret, one string, one finger. And they're just layered. And with the choice of guitar sounds, that particular style really works in the context of the band. So I was removed from it, and I couldn't really associate with it right off the bat. I had to give it time to appreciate how everything worked together. That's the end of my thought for that.
You know what? I think for me that may be one of the things that I didn't connect with initially, is that sparse, I'm like a strumming of chords or a riff or a groove kind of guy, and this is none of that. This is like single note with reverb and trim and all that stuff on it, and that's just a little bit different.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I was going to say there's also in the structural elements and again in the choice of the sounds and the soundscapes of the songs. I feel like there's elements of early elements of glitch and lo-fi in some of the songs. the very first track, I think, has a lot of lo-fi in it.
The whole record kind of feels a little bit lo-fi to me, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you said too, Jamie. Going like it's reminiscent of that New York City dirty sound, that noise rock, the early White Zombie noise pollution type of like it's throwing everything at you at once. And I think, like I said, repeated listens kind of have you, whether you fall in love with it or not, is not the point. I think it's one of those things you have to let it play multiple times, and it's a short record to do that because you miss certain things, and then when you start to take, like you said, looking at some of these, whether they're simple or complex, like looking at it as a whole and then coming at it from different angles, like, oh, there's something there. Whether it becomes a favorite album or not, it's just interesting. It's interesting, like all art installment. It's the same way of like you mentioned before, Rob, going to a gallery, looking at a certain piece of work and like knowing it certain ways you stand from certain distances, it appears and has different qualities. And I feel like that's what this record definitely kind of emulates, is something like an art installment.
That's an excellent analogy.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah. I mean,
Dandelion tea. I'm on fire.
I was just given a tea. I got a tea here. This is a what is this? We got, I don't know what the tea bag is. Probably echinacea tea.
Echinacea.
But ginger, turmeric, apple cider vinegar. So all kinds of
Did yours come with a quote, though? Mine did. Mine came from Rosemary Gladstar, and it says, "The plants have enough spirit to transform our limited vision." How true.
Mine says, "Life is a flow of love. Your participation is requested." I believe this tea bag's coming on to me. I'm not sure.
Tea bag.
Mine says Taconic Distilling.
I have that glass.
We got those at the same time.
Oh,
look at all those connections.
Connections.
No, we have to find a way. So if James makes a flat shape, James, go like this. Bend your wrist or something, and then I'll connect it.
Other side.
No, see, James has just got to be flat, and then you and I got to do.
No, that's right. That makes more sense.
See? No, just flatten it like this, James. Flatten it like this, and then I'll come in.
Damn it, James! Flatten your head.
James, flat like
flatten
this.
my head.
This.
Oh
no,
wait,
flatten your arm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Flatten my head. Where am I going? Hey, you see that? What am I doing? I feel stupid. There.
I promise, this is my first drink of the night. Like, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've only had the one.
The tea is spiked with cyanide. Show will be ending in 5 minutes.
So,
glad we're helping your anger there, Dylan.
So,
D-Rack.
What was everybody's favorite song on this album?
Maps.
Are we there? Like, did I just blow up everybody's?
Let's do it. Let's
do
do
it. Or?
No, let's. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. There's so much to choose in this. But yeah, let's do favorite tracks. I mean,
Maps.
Rob, you said Maps.
I did.
Maps.
James, you have favorite Maps? Yeah.
Date with the Night. I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like that was a song that
That's the second song. Yeah, that's my second favorite.
I kept coming back to it over and over and over again. And these past few weeks, I've been on a major Lords of Acid trip, and like
It's dangerous.
But like I found a lot of like Karen's choices and a lot of like her inflections to be really reminiscent of what they do in that band. So I just put a lot of that together. It was very, very cool to me, and I think that was the track that, as I listened to it more and more, started to like crack the door open for me to get into everything else the band was doing.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Maps. That's how I got introduced to the band. It didn't like make my favorite list, although I've been singing it all day because it's just so hooky. I loved how that song is track number 9. That's not the end of the album. Most bands. The reason why I say that is because, most bands would choose that as their end. That would bookend the album. And
I think it would be a great ending track.
Rightfully so. I think for the most part, people would do that, and I think that there's no harm in doing that. But I like how they do it with Modern Love. It's just, and maybe I don't know, because it's just this weird quirky song where it has like jingle bells in the song. It's got this hypnotic quality to it, and it just makes more sense that the Yeah Yeah Yeahs would choose Modern Romance to end this way, because it's kind of a perfect bookend for what they've done for this art installment, because it's just something that they've created. It gets really crazy, it starts making all sorts of crazy sounds, so it makes sense that would be the one they choose to put at the end of this. If they'd put Maps, it would have seemed a little bit too on the nose and like, oh yeah, that's what everybody would have done. So I kind of like that it went opposite. But one of my favorite tracks, I already said no is one of my favorites. Cold Light. I like Cold Light a lot. I like the confident, unwavering swagger of that song. It's just it confidently struts in, and then the way she sings the song, it moves like poetry. She just kind of laces it into the structure of the song, and just she projects beautifully in the song. So it's got a real good power to it, and it's just the lyrics are cool too. Cold light, hot night, be my heater, be my lover, and we could do it to each other. It's very provocative, but it's a cool song musically, lyrically. It's cool. I love how they just put it all together.
I found that a lot in a lot of the music that again, because that's like my shtick, is I'm mainly listening to the rhythm and the tone of things, and I found Karen's voice to be very much an instrument, as opposed to just singing the lyrics of the songs. And I found a lot of what she did to be done in a manner that was very provocative, and I think it adds a lot to the pieces. In its own way, in a really, really interesting way.
Yeah. You know what's interesting when you say that? You think of like most singers, like, oh, they're the singer. They may play an instrument too, with the lyricist, maybe the singer. But she's also a performer. And most people do perform when they go live. And some people, are have more performance skills than others. You could hear that in a lot of songs, like the song Tick, where she's like ticking like a bomb at the end. Where it's
I
just
thought
like,
that was so cool.
man, she's going to blow her lid. And it feels like an art performance. Like I'm in my living room listening to this. But like I feel like I'm at CBGB's in the city, like just this dirty place. And here's this band taking the stage, and the place just smells like sweat and ale. And it feels good. It feels great. Yeah, right. I know. The best bathroom.
I was. Oh, what bathrooms? This is just holes in the wall. I was really, really swamped with work this week, so like there were just times that I was listening and like that I would do something while I was listening to the album, and I'd be like, I got to tell these guys this, and then something would come through, and I would lose my train of thought. And one thing that I did while listening to this album was they played the whole thing live from start to finish at Glastonbury one year, and I listened to that live performance as well.
Oh, cool.
And that changes everything too, in a really, really cool way, because I think stylistically, some of the things they do, like I was saying before, the guitars being just like a lot of like one finger, one string, one note kind of parts that drone or that repeat, which I imagine the guitar player has to be using some sort of looping system to make that work. There's a lot of
repetition on this album, a lot, lyrically, sonically, all of it.
But live, I particularly looked for a live setting of some of the songs, because I wanted to know how that style translated into a live setting. And it didn't let me down at all. The rest of the performance was so freaking fire that like the drummer turned himself up like one notch. Karen turned herself up a dozen notches. And the guitar player was out of his mind. It was like what they lacked in the ability to produce in the studio, they just made up for with like unrivaled intensity in a live setting. And I was amazed to see that like I wasn't missing anything in a live performance of the album. It was really, really good. And Karen in particular is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
In a live setting.
I was surprised because I've never seen them live. And I was like, it's so funny you did that too. I watched a bunch of live performances and was just blown away. But everything visually, sonically, it was great. I mean, she does a lot of things with her hands. She communicates to the crowd while she's singing through these gestures, and it is very, it's very enticing to watch. And I can only imagine being there in person is got to be a great deal of fun. Yeah. High energy.
I would very much like to see them live. I think it'd be a great show.
Yeah.
I think watching her would probably be like watching a cartoon character pitch a fit in real time. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, now I got to check them out live on these videos, because that's very intriguing to me, because like the show to me is almost equally as important as the music when it's done live, at least. So
there's nothing more disappointing. I'm sure maybe some people could say this, but you ever go to a concert for a band that you either are into, whatever variety it is, and be disappointed live, and you're like, whoa, and maybe it was
We're gonna talk about it next. We're gonna talk about it next week, I think, a little bit.
Are we?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
In Rob's defense, I might talk about it a little bit next week as well.
All right. Gotcha. All right.
I'll talk about it in good ways and bad ways, but we will talk about that.
But you're totally right. I mean, like a band like the Deftones, which is like on the record such a sonic punch in the mouth, and like a good performance by Chino is so hard to find.
It is.
I mean, I been looking up Digital Bath. Love that song. And just watched like 7 different versions of it, and each one was successively worse than the last.
Oh no!
Stefan's fatter and fatter and fatter, and then I think he became 2 people at one point. But yeah,
That's that entire
don't be
band.
mean.
That
Don't be
entire
mean.
band went through that. I can tell you that I saw them play Digital Bath live at Ozfest, and it was every bit as badass as it is on the record. Like, I don't know if they just had killer sound that day or what the case may have been. Their entire set at Ozfest, when I saw them at Ozfest 2 or 3 times. It was fantastic that one year that they played that song. And every time I've seen them, aside from that, has been a train wreck. Not like, not that they played badly, but that the sound was terrible, that a lot of those parts are way too high. And when you try and do that for an extended period of time, your first 2 songs, awesome. The rest of the show, disaster.
And I think also, I mean, you would think after, I don't know how we're on Deftones now, it's my fault, sorry, but you would
well, we're
think
talking
after
about live shows, it's all good.
So having, he writes parts that are too high to replicate live. They can't tune the guitars any lower than they're already tuned. So he's kind of caught in this sort of paradox. But you would think after all these years of having 2 great first songs, and then by song 3 through 12 of the performance, he can't hit the notes anymore. He would have learned a better way to try, because it's almost harder to listen to when he tries to ad-lib and goes completely off the tracks, changing the melody or trying to do something that's even further outside of his, limitations. He has a great voice when he's doing what he does, but but this band, I could see, like, it's interesting because as I'm hearing you talk about it, both you guys actually, I'm hearing the songs in my head through the scope that you guys, the picture you're painting, the art installation, the CBGBs, the grime. And now I'm hearing those songs, but my other senses have kicked in. I can smell those songs.
Yeah.
I can see what those performances would look like, though I've never seen them live. I can almost taste it, because I can taste that PBR or the cigarettes in the air, or just all those like grimy, Village, Lower East Side, Bowery, like all that, like.
Really want to get in, wax intellectual about it. You can feel the stage under your feet.
Yeah, absolutely. God, do you remember like coming home from shows and coming home from like going out to the bars and stuff, and coming either that night or the next day, waking up and taking a shower, and the smell of cigarette, just because like you were allowed to smoke in bars, like not whether you were smoking or not, didn't matter. Like you just rinsed all this stink out of you. You're like, wow.
Dude, in the beginning of when we first started at Heated Exchange, we were just taking gigs everywhere, and people were super excited about this guy-girl acoustic duo thing. And we played at the Porter House a handful of times, that cigar bar.
Yep.
And dude, you'd have to like strip naked outside and just leave the clothes outside overnight. Leave the gear outside. Yeah, leave the gear outside overnight. Like there's just no coming back.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's thick. Yeah, cigar smoke's a whole other beast. When I bought this house, when we moved in, the previous owners were both smokers. She smoked her Virginia Slims. He apparently was a cigar smoker. I can't tell you the funk. Like when I say I stripped this place, like I just like I tore everything out, all the wallpaper, carpet. Like you can't get rid of that smell. It's not going anywhere, Jack.
Does it make me a weirdo that if the person that lived in my house before me had smoked like pipe tobacco, I would do precisely 0 to try and take care of that?
Right? It's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Pipe tobacco is just a wonderful thing to smell.
Yeah.
Don't smoke. But pipe tobacco smells so good.
I
Absolutely.
actually have a candle that smells of warm pipe tobacco.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Send me if you have like, send me a picture of that. I'll try and find that, because I would love to burn that in my home.
Yeah. And it has the flickery candle, the one that looks like a fireplace. Yeah.
Oh, you have like a wooden wick on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I had that one. I had one that has like actual wick. So maybe we have 2 different kinds here. Because the one I have doesn't smell exactly like pipe tobacco, but it's got a great scent to it. So I wonder what you got.
Yeah, I'll send a picture to you guys tomorrow when I go in.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I burnt down UPS. What?
So I'll try and when we're done for the night, I'll send that link to that Glastonbury show that I found, and we could post it on the Record Talk Facebook and on the YouTube channel. A pinned comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for the algorithm.
There you go.
Algorithms.
Long day. And I tell you, man, I just want to say for a moment, anyone who's watching this in the future, we do appreciate you guys sticking around and watching everything, on the repeats. Our video from last week is our second most viewed The Alice in Chains one is their second most viewed one ever as of now. So it's
Oh yeah, nice.
So you guys are catching them on the replay. So thank you, for who's here live, but thank you those who are seeing this in the future. We have a vast library of fantastic conversations about some fantastic records. So I implore you to check them out.
I've been trying to make some more posts, just sharing some of that art that we've made in the past, just to kind of show people like you can kind of check that stuff out.
Hold on, that you've made. Take the credit because you do a great job.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You do a great job.
Thank you, sir. What were we talking about?
We were taling about the AAS.
Pearl Jam, I think. Versus.
Oh, I was listening to Dirt this weekend too. I don't know. I got into it once we did that that facelift. I'm like, now I gotta go listen to Dirt because I think you referenced Dirt like 6 times, Rob. And it's like, I gotta go listen to that album now.
Well, just because the arc of it, because like facelift is like, this band's kind of one thing, and then angry.
Yeah.
I went back and listened to Rooster on Unplugged, and that's just. Powerful. Rooster might be one of the best songs ever written. Just the way that it's performed and everything about it is just
good story.
It's just so good.
Live Gang? What's Live Gang, Dylan?
Because she's part of the live.
Oh, the Live Gang. Got it. All right. Did you say the word gang and I totally missed it? I didn't put it all together.
I don't think I did, but he did. Right. So I agreed.
Yeah. Do you guys want to say anything else about the AAS? Do you want to keep talking more about it?
I actually
side B.
I had a question for you because I only know the Immigrant Song beyond this album. Brian, sorry. What does their other music sound like? Does it get less gritty or artsy from here, or do they just kind of double down and this is what we are?
No, they've done other albums where like it gets a little bit, they do different things. But I think that's just always going to be in their, it's just always going to be in their DNA. I think that's like Trent can do other things. He scores movies, but you'll always, it's like, because you're so familiar with him, you're such a fan of his work and the work that he produces. It's like your favorite guitarist, oh, that's Eddie Van Halen right there. Oh, that's so-and-so right there. Like, you just know that, like, they not to say that they can't, they're pigeonholed, not to say that they're typecast or anything like that, you just know, so Fever to Tell is its own beast, and then Show Your Bones, you could definitely feel some of that Fever to Tell. It's Blitz and Mosquito. There's growth across all 4 of those albums. But in my opinion, I think you hear what makes the AAS, in all of them. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you should check out all the other albums. They're great. Yeah, totally great.
Yeah. Did they have a song called Rear View Mirror on their second album, or perhaps one called Daughter?
Are we talking about Pearl Jam?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I was confused again.
Which album is Even Flow on?
Don't call me daughter.
First 10.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite albums. 10.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I'm sorry. I'll be
unrelated to anything we've been talking about except Pearl Jam at this point. Even Flow is my favorite Pearl Jam song. I'll give a lot of crap to Pearl Jam because that band still has yet to latch on to me. But Even Flow is a fantastic song. 10 is
that album is amazing. 10's one of my favorites.
10's great.
Yep. And granted, I don't know all their albums because they have a huge. Plus, they really sold those live albums. So it's like, if you want to get really technical here, that's your favorite Versus, huh?
It is.
Yeah, great album too. Absolutely great album.
What's the deal with Versus and Vitology? Did they just name their albums with words that start with V that are a little bit out of the ordinary?
Well, it's not the Mars Volta, so I think they're doing all right. They're not making up words. Which I love the Mars Volta too, by the way.
Well, Aphex Twin names all of his songs after mood-altering narcotics, so I guess we'll just go, people do weird things in Ventolin.
I heard Anthrax is back in making some new music.
Wait, hold the phone. Rob, what the hell is that?
That's the booklet from Live Shit, Binge, and Purge.
I mean to buy that on a regular basis. Like every now and again, that's one of my haunts on Amazon is trying to get the there's like a new version of that's like a condensed box set of Live Shit.
Yeah.
I think there's a Blu-ray remaster of it. I kind of want that.
I think that, if you can find it, I have the tapes and I have the components, but I don't have the actual box.
You don't have the big crate anymore?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Oh
no.
wow.
Yeah, dumb.
Oh, what happened?
Do you have the stencil still?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. You have all the contacts, you just don't have the case.
yeah.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Box
what's
set.
our B side today? Box sets?
Godzilla
no,
versus Kong?
Yeah, we
Godzilla?
we can't. We gotta be careful with spoilers. I don't know how much we could
Yeah, I
talk
don't
about.
wanna
It
ruin
just
it
came
for
out today,
anybody.
so we should probably do that side B. I don't think it's good.
Ah,
I mean, what I suggest, you and all of us have been talking about
Not me. I've been MIA all week. It's okay. You can call me
over
out.
the weeks. I said
we don't want to call you out on it. You've been
No.
busy. You're a busy guy.
we've been talking about like the DC universe. So I was just throwing out side B being like, you look at Marvel and how they're able to create this whole arc, right? And you have this other franchise, Godzilla franchise, that's and Kong combined. They're creating this solid work, and I feel like DC is kind of like up and down. They'll get on a path, and then it's like,
I have an opinion.
go for it, please.
Okay. So, have either of you seen the new Justice League yet?
No.
You can now, Brian.
I know.
So,
It's investing a lot of time in something that has had a very poor track record. So it's like, do I want to invest that much time?
totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's worth your time.
All right, let's do it.
We're going nerdy. Get ready, kids.
Hey. Sorry. Hey.
So
Sorry.
this whole relaunching of the DC, because you got to think okay, you think of Marvel movies prior to the whole MCU. You think, what are the two trilogies that we can think of? We have X-Men and we have Spider-Man.
What about Wolverine?
Wolverine fit into the X-Men world.
It does. I really don't know anywhere near as much about this as you guys. So to me, when I think Marvel, I immediately go to those 3 Wolverine movies and Spider-Man. I don't know very much about MCU.
Okay,
So, like the Iron Man, Thor.
Never
Captain
saw
America.
any of
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, right on.
so if you look at the original X-Men, the first X-Men from 2000, or the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, those were like self-contained universes.
Yes.
When the first Iron Man movie came out, who knew Iron Man, really? He wasn't like a mainstream, like a Spider-Man or a Batman. He wasn't that big of a mainstream big deal, at least in my world.
He was in the comic book world for sure.
Oh yeah, totally in the comic book world.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he had the series in the 90s, the cartoon, which was really good. But I'm trying to condense my thought. So when that Iron Man movie came out, it was like, oh, let's see an Iron Man movie. No one really knew what was going to happen. And then when Nick Fury shows up at the end, you're like, wait a second. I don't think anyone's sitting there in that post-credit scene, which what the hell was a post-credit scene to begin with in 2007 or whenever that was, and said, wow, we're going to be doing this for like 30 movies. And this climax as this giant Avengers crossover thing. And then there's more to come after that. I think one of us were talking recently how there's this seemingly infinite pool of resources to pull from when trying to create these stories.
Well, thousands and thousands of issues of comics.
Right. Over, 50, 60 years. DC plus maybe. DC went darker with the Superman movie. So the tone was different. Zack Snyder, you think Watchmen, you think 300, you think on a much lesser extent, though she's very pretty. What was it, Sucker Punch? Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, Sucker Punch. That's right.
That was the Zack Snyder movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that first Superman movie, the tone was much darker. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. He nailed they've adapted the comic book series to make the cartoons to make it more like Robert Downey Jr.'s version of the character. Not that he changed it too much, but just his cockiness and swagger. It's like
the charisma that he has.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's reshaped these characters, like Vision, all of them.
Totally. Yeah. So when it came to the DC world, which I guess was your initial question, I feel like the DC stuff was darker from the start. So Superman was darker and it was weird and it was long, and he had the controversial ending where he does something that you don't think Superman would really do. And then the next movie right over is Batman vs. Superman, which had so much pressure. And it wasn't that good. It was just disjointed. But I think had Zack Snyder taken from Superman to Batman vs. Superman to the Justice League, and they would have had the Wonder Woman and another Batman solo movie throughout, by the time they got to Justice League, had it all flown from Superman to Batman vs. Superman to Justice League, that would have made it make sense, because now having seen his version of what Justice League should have been, yeah, 4 hours is a lot.
Wait, what's the order you said it should have been? It should have been Superman,
Batman versus Superman, which is what happened. And then the next film was going to be the Justice League movie. And that was going to be like a casual introduction of all these other characters.
Okay.
Because, I'm sorry, the casual introduction, because there was Wonder Woman is in Batman versus Superman.
right?
And the Flash has that time travel scene.
Right.
But that whole nightmare thing with Batman and the weird post-apocalyptic future. Remember that? Batman versus
Yeah.
Superman?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That whole world was Justice League 2. But that never happened, because he never even got his first Justice League. So if you don't know, James, Zack Snyder was making this Justice League movie, and then a particular point through production, his daughter took her own life. So he pulled himself from it. They brought in Joss Whedon, and he reshot all this stuff and just changed the whole tone of the movie. So there'll be like a super dark scene, and then there's a joke cracked, and it's just so uneven that the theatrical release of Justice League was just a complete train wreck. But now
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So now the fans petitioned, and now Zack Snyder was allowed to go back and re-edit together his original vision of the movie. He didn't use one scene from Joss Whedon's reshot stuff. And now if you watch Superman, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I promise you, I guarantee you're going to be dying to know what Justice League 2 and 3 would have been. So I think had his vision, it was just a slow burn. That's all. It just had to get to that third movie to make you want the remaining 2 or 3 movies. And
see, that's it. I get it, and that's not even a slow burn, man. That is a deathly slow burn, because like you have essentially that same recipe with the Marvel universe. It's just done more effectively. All those movies could be standalones, and you could not care about an arc. And Superman is great. You know, great points. That dark ending. The problem with Superman, once you get out of the 80s and early 90s, like he's not relatable. As the world changes and we evolve as people and as readers and consumers of this content, he's not relatable, because he's undefeatable. He's powerful beyond words. He could do everything. So how do you relate to that? It's like being so rich. Like I can't relate to that. Like I don't. What is that? It's just unattainable. I think what that movie did, which was why I love that Superman movie so much, is they made him relatable. They put him in positions where he had to make this, like, why would Superman would never kill Zod. Spoiler alert. But like he says it.
Guess I'm not watching that one.
But like, you know, so there's great writing. Batman versus Superman, that's a weird follow-up to that movie. To go right to that was poor. That's Garden of Eden, the garden.
Yeah.
Poor. There should have been another movie juxtaposed. Either Superman should have his own movie, or build Batman with what's his name? Jeez, I'm drawing a blank here.
Ben Affleck.
Let him have a standalone and then do the verses, or have something sandwiched. You know that.
I agree.
You know, which Wonder Woman did, right? Didn't Wonder Woman? No, Wonder Woman came.
No, she was after. She was after Batman versus Superman.
See?
Oh yeah.
What about
maybe she was after Justice League? I think she came out after Justice League.
Now,
I don't even sound real conspiratorial. Having a theatrical release.
Because it was so bad. It was like, just
there was no marketing for it either.
So wait, no. This is gonna sound conspiratorial, but Joss Whedon works with Marvel a great deal.
Yeah. Like, now he's a creep all around. I don't know if you've heard about all that.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Okay, I have a question. Because Brian, you had said something that Superman is.
Hans Zimmer is amazing. Very good, Dylan.
He is, dude. If you watch his masterclass on that masterclass series, it's life changing. Dylan, watch that. Now? The Hans Zimmer has a masterclass, and that masterclass, ridiculous.
I can only imagine. That's got to be ridiculous. But saying that Superman is like he's unbeatable, he's unstoppable, he's all powerful. That I forget the words that you did use, Brian, but I'm along the right lines. Isn't there a character that's been introduced into the MCU recently, or if not recently introduced, soon to be introduced in one of the upcoming movies? Or again, I don't really know the series very well, but wasn't Dormammu as a character basically he could reset the entire universe?
So he was in Doctor Strange, and they're starting to now get into these celestials and these ancient creatures and beings that are bigger than just a man in a suit made of armor. Yes, and that's kind of where it's getting to this. Like, there's this movie coming out soon called The Eternals, where it's very space, and even Guardians of the Galaxy were that way. So it's starting to get. See, I think Marvel was smart in that way too. Kind of to your point, where they started with a very rooted in reality as best they could character before they got into
Peter Parker.
Right. Before they got into a talking tree, Groot.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Whereas,
you're starting to introduce things like fantastic. I think WandaVision's hinting at things like the X-Men. I think you're going to start getting more of these other comics, and maybe they'll be done. Because that's the other thing, too. Fantastic Four has not been done well. Spider-Man, in my opinion, was not done well until recently. Although Andrew Garfield, I think, did a really good job, and Jamie Lee Foxx as Electro, and some of the characters that I thought those were turning out pretty good. Andrew Garfield, right?
Jamie Lee Foxx, you said.
Did I say Jamie Lee Foxx? Yes.
I thought that was a person. It shows how much I freaking know about stuff. I was convinced.
Yes! I created two amazing, an actor and an actress. I switched to
Jamie Lee Curtis Fox.
Wow!
Jamie Lee Curtis is a fox.
Go and act. Create amazing magic.
So wait a minute.
What is a dandelion today?
Did you guys not like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
No. It
Am I
felt
the
to me
person that
like
likes
too
those
much like the original Fantastic Four. It was too cartoony. It felt too grounded in. Plus, he did out of all the three Peter Parkers. I think the current one. What's the actor's name?
Yeah, it's Tom
Holland.
Yeah,
he best replicates some of that early Spider-Man, and I think Tobey Maguire also did a really good job with that. Just the constant talking, how he was in the comic books. I feel like
at least in the first movie, I thought.
Right. The second iteration of it, it was a darker, deeper. I don't know. But Into the Spider-Verse, they did a really good job too. The different Peter Parkers. So,
dude, I was so like, this movie is ridiculous. I don't like the animation. I loved that Spider-Verse movie.
Is Spider-Gwen a badass in Into the Spider-Verse?
She is a badass, yeah.
I wish there would be a Spider-Gwen movie. I thought that was all. I thought she was a great character.
Towards that, yeah.
I'll tell you, the in many lists where they tally, the best superhero movies ever, that second Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie with Dr. Octopus comes in number one very often.
I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, there's great elements of it. It's not my favorite. I think that what they're doing now fits better.
I really hope that the new Spider-Man movie is all that the rumors say it's going to be. I think Marvel has been jerking us around with a lot of rumors, twisting our brains. So I really hope that this turns out to be a live-action Spider-Verse movie.
What's going on with Black Widow and the other one with Morbius? Like, haven't we heard anything about those?
Black Widow.
So Black Widow got delayed till July, and it will come out on Disney Plus and the theater.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But it's like a $30 upcharge, which is really fine because let's say the three of us went to a movie, that's $60.
Yeah. So for me, it's a lot more because I got to find a sitter.
Yeah.
I ain't bringing kids with me, so
so
I'm already out.
They could have been $40. I'd have said okay. Like I want to watch that movie so badly.
Yeah, absolutely. The DC it rocks in the animated. Like they're doing have you heard they're doing a long Halloween?
I just saw that with Jensen Ackles.
Yeah,
who's one of Sam's boyfriends. So yeah.
Wait, what?
So
she's big Supernatural fans over here. He's one of the guys from Supernatural. Yeah.
So what's going on with Michael Keaton showing up in DCU again at some point now?
So that's happening in the Flash movie, which is going to be their take on Flashpoint. The Flashpoint story was that the Flash runs backwards to rewind the planet to undo the death of his mother. And in doing that, he screws up the timeline, basically breaks the timeline. And in this new offshoot of reality, Bruce Wayne died and Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. His Martha Wayne is driven crazy by the son dying and she becomes the Joker. So there's a fantastic Flashpoint cartoon on HBO Max. Watch that.
Okay.
All right.
But I don't know what they're going to do in this movie because it's going to have Ben Affleck Batman and Bruce Wayne Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay. I will watch that. Did you guys please?
No. I was just reading some.
Everyone just got like really stiff and really.
I'm excited. Like now that like Marvel has the Fox.
Is that Lee Fox or Fox?
Lee Fox. Yeah, always.
Jamie Lee Fox. Jamie Lee
Dude, like,
Fox Curtis.
we all say silly things because we're
Oh my God.
together.
Fire it
But,
off.
like, I couldn't let that one slide. I'm
No,
sorry.
how
It's
could you
just-
not?
dude,
I'm glad you caught it. It's amazing.
I was
Two
about to like pick up
amazing
my iPad
actors.
and be like, "Who the hell is this person I've never heard of before?"
it's actually two people.
It's a hybrid. They come together like Voltron and they just conquer.
Now I want to see a movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and Jamie Foxx.
Right? You're welcome. You're welcome, universe. I just put that out there.
Be a very interesting Halloween meets Ray Parker.
Oh my God. But I want to see some new X-Men. I want to see what they're gonna do with Wolverine because everybody's just so much that's Hugh Jackman or bust, but like it can't be that way forever. I'm excited about like how does Venom cross into this universe? How do we get Fantastic Four? So what are these? Because the Fantastic Four is great comic and stories and stuff, you know?
Is anybody else besides me want an X-23 movie?
Yeah.
I really want an
Did you see
X-23
Logan,
movie.
James?
I love Logan.
I have not seen that one.
Logan, and not for nothing, if you should just buy it because it's just you're gonna like it. But if you there's a certain version of it that you get it where they call it Logan Noir, where you can watch the whole thing in black and white. So good.
I saw
Oh, man,
that
so
version
good.
of it. I saw the movie on an airplane, and that was the version they played. And I just thought that's how the movie was. I didn't realize
Oh,
afterwards. Yeah,
interesting.
that
That's
was an awkward movie to watch. It's a gory movie, and you're watching it on the airplane, and the dude over your shoulder is watching. I'm like, get out of here! You don't want to see this.
I think that's probably why they put it in black and white because there's a lot of red in that movie.
Yep.
Kill Bill style. All right.
Yeah. But
Oh my gosh, on a movie. I'm sorry to interrupt you real fast. On a movie, comic book, airplane combined story. I was on a flight once, and I was watching. There was a Harley Quinn animated movie. In the movie, she's forcefully intimate with Robin, and there's like it's a rated R cartoon for whatever reason. So it's like
probably because of what you just said.
Yeah,
A little racy.
playfully, but
Right.
whatever. Yeah, and that was a real awkward one to watch on the back of the airplane, headrest.
Nothing happening here, folks.
And seriously, I was like, all right. Now
I would like to say that I've had an instance like that on a plane, but I typically get on a plane and I'm asleep before we actually leave the ground.
I can't sleep on a plane. What's wrong with me?
The secret is bring the little vodka bottles with you.
And just don't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like an early morning flight. I stay awake.
Sleep deprivation while getting onto a tube of just germs. That's a smart idea. Get out of here.
That's how I roll. I want to be out cold.
James is I'm telling you, he is when many years from now, when James's time ceases to be on this plane, they will autopsy his body and find that he is a true, like he may be a mutant, like a superhero, like he's one of the way his body can process what it processes and survive on what it survives. Ask him since he got his shot, how many Krispy Kremes have you had, James?
Oh my God, like 8. You think it's a game?
You think it's a game?
Every day. I'm entitled
What?
to
They
one
give away
free
free
donut
donuts?
a day. One free donut a day.
We got goals.
I particularly got the shot because I wanted the free donuts. How many more days are there between now and 2021? I'm going to get one of those donuts every day leading up to 2021.
James is just crushing his goals.
Listen, that's how I roll. I got a treadmill a couple weeks ago. It should be here. It's going to be in this general vicinity in about 2 or I don't know, however many freaking weeks. It's on a box in California. But as soon as I get that, I'm going to start dominating my runs again. I'm just going to eat whatever I want.
Are you gonna be like cartoon style, have like the donut just in front of your face?
I don't need
Dude, you
that.
got to see how he does. He puts the treadmill at the steepest grade possible at like some ungodly speed, and he just runs up a mountain. That's it. That's what he does. And he's like, my heart doesn't. It's going really fast, and it's not stopping. Yeah, because you're running up a mountain, sprinting. It's like, oh, that's as high as I can go. Put some phone books underneath it. We'll fix that problem.
Oh,
So
geez,
that I
James.
did think of that a couple times that I was like, I'm at the top. I don't know what else to do. But I had a conversation with Rob a couple months back that I hadn't run like I used to. I hadn't done my regimen since we moved here from New York. So it was like September 10th of 2019. That was the last time I did that. And around April of 2020, I started not losing weight overnight anymore. So if you ever wondered, after running uphill like a madman for a year straight and then stopping all of a sudden, it takes approximately 8 months for your weight burn to stop.
For you.
At least for me.
For most, it would be instantaneous.
Because
Well, that was our talk about
the yes.
Sorry. And MCU and DCU.
Yeah, I kind of hijacked that. Sorry, you just something you want to add?
No, you were good there. That was good.
Yeah, no, it was good. You make me. I mean, you sell a good point. I'm gonna rewatch them in order, and I will let you know. I will report back on that. I'm not taking a crap on the DCU at all because I love DC. I have a lot of their comics. I love like the Long Halloween.
This is a good one.
Killing Joke.
Swamp Thing, the Saga of Swamp Thing, Killing Joke is amazing. I have a lot of DC. I've shared some of them on Record Talk. I'm excited about that Batman 89 that's coming out in June or July. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I have those. Yeah. Yep. I actually have the comics of that, not the trade paperback.
Mm-hmm.
When they did the
Listen, Mister, I got everything on vinyl.
Hey,
I know.
it's been brought to you by the picture disc. All right. Oh, I picked up.
Cool.
Well, good time tonight, guys.
Well,
Is anybody else going to watch Godzilla?
Oh, it's Population Override by Buckethead.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sell this. Be on the lookout, eBay.
Rob, if you're looking for that, there you go.
I think I'm going to watch it on Friday. So we'll,
I'm going to watch it again in T-minus whenever we're done.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up so you can get to your second showing.
NBD. Gonna eat a whole bunch of fig goat cheese. Can't wait.
good. Nice and vegan. All right, friends. Well, thank you for your time. Next week, we're talking about Brian Tool.
Undertow.
It's one of my favorite Tool albums. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Does the bonus track count too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
On this album too, it counts.
Rob, that's going to be your moment to shine. Is that bonus track?
Why?
Because like you literally just like usually whenever that song happens and there's stuff around you, you just like that's like your flip to desk over song.
What song is this?
Life Feeds On. Is that one? At the end?
Disgusting.
Life
Yeah.
feeds
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Feeds
Rob
on
like just
thirst.
got out of the van and flipped the van over before the show. He's gonna do that right now. He's gonna throw his coffee table.
I love that track. Love it.
Yeah,
All
right.
Because I haven't listened to that whole album in a long time, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
Excellent. Very cool.
So many
Well,
good songs.
guys,
All right, friends. Well,
thank
let's
you,
get our,
everybody.
Everybody-
our out for.